This concept is a take on Fortnite Super. This was before the season released. We can see the Fortress of Solitude replacing Mast Meadows and Utopia City. Very cool. One thing I would suggest is if you want to recolor terrain, don't draw. It may look off. Use the color changing tool in your chosen application, like this example. This concept seems to be a remake of Chapter 2. I really like the small additions to this, such as hilltop homes and army airport. The clouds also make this concept stand out. Speaking of the airport, one thing I see a lot of creators do is mess up scale when it comes to implementing buildings or foliage. This building is far too big. I understand it was probably a loose depiction of a larger building, but I think adding the extra detail is worth it. I won't go into too much detail here, but if you need any help when it comes to scaling your maps, send me a message on Discord. I'd be happy to help. This is another concept of Season 3. However, this is a completely unique take with a massive jungle biome in the top right. It includes very impressive custom buildings and a large volcano. I really like what was done with this. There's a few things I could suggest, however my biggest one is blending two areas on a map together, old and new. Sometimes it looks quite jarring to see the biome transitions with no blending. The roads could use some work too, but other than that, very cool concept. This concept is pretty simple. It's a mix of POIs from Fortnite's past and present, using Asteria's map as a base. I like how the POI positions make sense, such as the sanctuary area being near the coastline. Nice bit of geography there. However, this concept has a similar issue with blending. The jungle doesn't transition into the grassland very well, and the snow biome's color don't match. Giving the added POIs in the snow a tint of blue could definitely help improve the blending. This is the beginning of a fully custom asset concept. That's something I've always admired and wanted to do myself. While this is only a small amount of progress, what's been done so far is very impressive. I love that island shape. While I'm not an expert at fully custom drawn concepts, one thing I'd say is to add more depth to the terrain. It looks rather flat with just one color. Adding some darker colors around cliffs to represent some hills may be a good idea to add diversity. This concept is a remake of Chapter 5. I really like how well blended the areas added are, especially the soccer field and Happy Hamlet. However, in my opinion, this needs more to it for it to be a remake. Currently there's only 2 things from past chapters added, and the map is rotated. Don't be afraid to diversify your concepts. You don't need to stick with assets from old maps. This concept is an alternate version of Chapter 3 Season 3, Vibing. I can definitely see the potential with this creator. The assets used, especially the custom assets such as the big flower, look really nice. However, the coloring on this map definitely needs some improvement. There's too many unnatural bright colors and it hurts my eyes a bit. Toning down the shades of color will do wonders. This is a concept of what if absolute doom happened in Oninoshima. Something I really like about this concept is the asset mixing. Most new places blend quite well in existing terrain. I'd like to highlight the raft. This is some great work. One thing I'd say is that the Doom biome doesn't really match the color scheme of the island. For some reason Chapter 5 Season 4 had a bluish tint to it, as seen here. Luckily I made a custom variant of the Chapter 5 Season 4 minimap without the blue tint. Once again, just message me on Discord for it. This concept is if Last Resort was a Chapter 3 season. I must say I love the ideas this concept brings, especially around the coastal area with the Loopers Oasis. I think for this concept this user should have just used official minimap assets instead of drawing. The drastic change of art style can be rather jarring, however it is useful for a rough idea. This concept is an alternative version of Chapter 3 Season 2. I really like how the crater was done here. The way it was designed shows that something big went down here. However, the things inside of the crater are not very recognizable. Nothing really feels connected, and it's quite difficult to tell what I'm looking at, apart from tilted. Make sure that a viewer can understand what you are going for with your points of interest.